subscribe to Go Doctor Who. And if you don't, then you can go.
Hello guys, watching Go Doctor Who, and today we're reviewing The Timeless Children, and yeah, let's just get into it. There's a lot to talk about. I'm just going to go through it, bits and pieces, let's go. So, one thing that comes to mind before we get to the main stuff is the Cybermen with them on the ship. Obviously, that cliffhanger gets resolved quite quickly. It's meant to be a classical Doctor Who, how they're going to get out throughout the week. And they easily just get out through a ventilation shaft. Good old classic Doctor Who. Yeah, I didn't mind that. I know people might have thought, oh, that was so easy, but I enjoyed that. I also thought that I loved Graham's idea. He put something towards the team. He was like, let's dress up in the Cybermen get up. Let's do this. And the humans had something to do. This human was doing that. The woman was tweaking the suit so it didn't upgrade them. And then they just put them on, and then I loved that when they I'm gonna call him the lone Cyberman. The lone Cyberman opened the containers and he was checking on them, and your suspense, because it's the finale. You think, oh, is he gonna get one of them? Your heart's going like that, and then it's nothing. He gets a call to alarm and he has to go off, and then they move on, and yeah, I quite enjoyed that. I thought that was a quite amazing, brilliant scene to go on. Then they somehow get to where Ryan is, and I thought, oh, I wanted Ryan to go with the Doctor on Gallifrey. I wanted one of the companions to be on Gallifrey, and obviously they do later on. But then we have that little scene with the old guy that we learn later on is the Resistance or something that Captain Jack was warning, and what sent the cyber, I don't know what it's called, I'm just going to say the cyber goo. I know it's a technical thing that has all the cyber information and is basically the cyber controller or whatever. It knows everything, it knows all the strategies and all that sort of stuff. Basically, the old man sent that back in time, which leads the Doctor into what we know, and then she gets to this episode because the old man sent that back in time, sort of thing. Timey-wimey. Anyway, I thought that was interesting, but he kept on staying behind. There was a reason why he was staying behind, because he was guarding them, because maybe he thought it was his fault why the Cybermen are still around. He feels guilty, and he doesn't feel like he's worthy of surviving, which leads into play later on when he does what he does. But yeah, that was interesting. And then I also loved there was a little reference to the assassination of the president. I enjoyed that with the Master throwing that line in. Obviously, it's a classic Who reference. And then we move on to let's do the big stuff. Basically, the companions after the... one thing, Ryan with the hoop. Linking back to Spyfall with the hoop, with his friend trying to get the hoop in. That linked into play quite nicely. That was a little interesting thing from the very beginning of the series. Little treats we get. Here's the fans that enjoyed and stuck with the whole series, and here's the fans that dotted around, skipped a few episodes. They're not going to get all this. Where we, the viewer, just constantly watched throughout the series, have basically understood all the references, and if you didn't, you didn't. But yeah, the hoop with the Spyfall when Ryan missed the hoop, but this time he threw the bomb and it blew up the Cybermen quite perfectly, and he mentioned the hoop, the little basketball reference, and I thought that was quite interesting. Yeah, this is a technical, very Ask episode, and this is where it gets technical, what we're going to talk about in the review. But yeah, so basically my mom watched this and she just didn't understand it, obviously, because this is the only episode she watched of the series. So that's that typical viewer. Won't understand much, maybe understand some. But then we get my nan, who was also watching, and she fell asleep. So yeah, but that's because they're not Doctor Who fans. That's the typical Doctor Who fan-esque what people are going to get from this episode. Us fans like me who've watched the whole series, have understood it. Even if you didn't, if you watched David Tennant's era and you left and came back to Jodie, you understand this story. Anyway, so now we get onto the series stuff. A little mention was we never found out which version is the Master. Oh well, it's one of those classic he survived moments, and Missy's redemption arc, you could say, it is before, is after this, and this is what made the Master turn angry. Get your own opinion and your thoughts and theories on this. I have got 2 videos planned, which is basically, I've got an overview of the series, but other than that, I'm going to say why the Timeless Children worked, and I'm also going to do one on, are the Time Lords still out there? And that is basically because, yes, the Master used them as dead bodies. Some still could have flew away in some way, and that's what I think. On the planet, all that atoms with that bomb, which reminded me of Series 4 with Davros with the reality bomb. That bomb did blow up Gallifrey, but yeah. Which is quite parallel with Day of the Doctor. I like that, but we'll get onto that in a minute. So, let's get into the main thing now. The Master and the Doctor. This is a very high Master story. It was in quite a lot of scenes. I felt like we were following the Master around. And that was interesting. If you enjoyed the Sacha Dhawan's Master, you're going to enjoy this episode. I think that's very given, apart from if you don't like the fact that the Doctor has more than William Hartnell, which I don't know how I feel about that, Yeah, part of me is like, but it's William Hartnell, he's got to be the first. But then there's other parts, like there's a gap. We don't know how he got to William Hartnell. We may think that the Roof Doctor got captured by the Shadoon at some point, and she got sent back to the Time Lords in the past, because we met them in the past in the Shadoon episode. We didn't meet the Time Lords in the future. This was all a past episode, and the Shadoon and the Time Lords made the Roof Doctor regenerate, and we sent him back as a little boy, and that's the Doctor we grew up with, you could say. Jodie is the Roof Doctor is the last Timeless Child Doctor, you could say, in a way, maybe. But she's certainly not the first, because we see this little montage. We see this person arrive on Gallifrey. We see this kid, which that turns out to be the Doctor, and we see the very first kid that is the Doctor. We think, anyway. We could assume there could have been more, but we learn that there's the first regeneration on Gallifrey, and this person is constantly tweaking, trying to find out, right, I need to check my child is safe, I'm adopting this child. And then we see something happen, which reminded me of the Master and the Doctor as a kid. I thought that was working. They were playing with the toy, they were trying to get at that. I thought that kid was going to be the Master, and I guess it kind of gave you that idea, but it weren't. It reminded me of that relationship. And then the Master got the Doctor killed. He was falling. Logopolis moment. Then she regenerates, and we see the first ever regeneration on Gallifrey. And then the person that adopted the kid runs over and is baffled by this, and spends the whole life trying to tweak that and trying to see how this works. It's very scientific, and you know what? I like that idea. I thought this is the very first interesting Gallifrey moment. My mum and my nan would not understand this, and they were lost at this point. I was like, that's how the Doctor regenerates. This is the origins, this is the start. And it's quite interesting. And you're like, oh, I'm hooked. And this is like a history lesson in a way, this episode. Then we move on. I thought, okay, this is the Roof Doctor. Then she regenerates again and again and again and again. And I'm like, oh, that means there is more than one. I wouldn't mind if it was just the Roof Doctor and maybe regenerated into that Irish guy, and then that was it. But no. It turned out constantly, they were kids as well, constantly kids. And then we get on to the person does this testing, and she puts it into herself. She has to do it herself to see if it'll work. And she regenerates, and then we know how regeneration works with this. Well, she does anyway, and starts populating Gallifrey, and then the Time Lords are born, and they can choose 12 lives. That is a point which we've seen from Classic Who. They've always said 12 lives. Then we move on with that. And then it kept on cutting to other stuff, and I was like, no, I need to find out more. I want to know the origin. They better tell me the origin. And they did, thank God, because that's how they keep you hooked throughout the episode. Right, you want to see this? We'll move that over there. Get back to this. And we see Sidemen. That was a bit jarring with some scenes. And the Sidemen are like stormtroopers. They're missing constantly. I wish we had more humans so they could kill them off. I would love that. I mean, these powerful Cybermen, and yet they miss. And they killed one person in this episode. I think they did. Yeah, they killed one. Which didn't have the least amount of screen time in the last episode. So it was relevant. It weren't relevant anyway. The Cybermen in this were all right. I do my Cybermen are my favourite villain, and the Master is. So putting them together has worked so many times in the past, and this time the Master overshadowed and took control, obviously. And then I thought, oh, is the Master controlling the Cybermen? No, he's not. And then we get to the lone Cyberman who is taking a back seat, and then I was like, the Master's going to totally kill the lone Cyberman. It's so obvious. And then I said to my nan, and my mum was like, he's going to kill him. And then he did it immediately after. And I was like, knew it. And then we moved on. They technically didn't die because he was miniaturized, but that I love the Master teasing the Doctor. Which one can I miniaturize first? And the Doctor's like, fine, I'll do what you want. Come on, let's go. He's like a child. And he's like, and then I was like, yeah, he's so insane. I love it. It's so mastery. And I was in awe of Sacha Dhawan's performance. I think he is my second favourite Master. John Sim just above. If we get more Sacha Dhawan, it could just creep up to first place. That's what I'm saying. But if he comes back and he's terrible, then he's going down, isn't he? But at the moment, he is second place, and I really enjoyed that. I don't know how he could come back, but it's the Master. He comes back. But also the Cybermen. They're the last of the Cybermen, and they all get wiped out. But then we could just see past Cybermen, I guess. So there's no... And they could have different incarnation, different forms anyway, so it doesn't matter. I'll get back to the Cybermen. There's something I didn't like about this episode, which I'll get into in a minute. I like the origin, obviously, learning about the Doctor. I thought that was pretty cool. And we saw how Gallifrey was built. I loved that scene. I was like, wow, this is interesting. It was like little ants building their little hives and all that sort of stuff, and that was pretty cool. Then we get onto the Master doing in two places at once. And then the Master is trying to make an alliance with the Gallifrey, and bringing the Cybermen to Gallifrey was quite interesting. And I was like, the Cybermen ship was just crashing Gallifrey. I was like, oi, don't destroy that. It's like you're like a kid playing with a vase. Better not destroy that. And then the kid just goes, tsh. I felt like that with the ship crashing down, even though Gallifrey was burnt anyway. I was like, oh, they're smashing down some of the buildings here, even though Gallifrey's destroyed anyway. But you know. Then there's a scene with Yaz. There's all these companions. Graham and Yaz, that was a nice scene as well, actually. I just remembered. Yeah, that was a nice touching scene. I thought, ooh, that means one of them's going to die in that. They gave attention to this person. I loved that. Graham seems to like Yaz more than the Doctor, which is interesting as well. No, the Doctor's got a TARDIS and a Sonic, but you're more important. I like that a lot. Then we get on to... what else? Yes, what I was mentioning. So they're all deciding they're about to go into the portal, and then they're like, well, which one's going first? They're making a dramatic scene, and Yaz is just like, I'm going. Well, she doesn't say anything, and that's the beautiful thing. She just walks, and I just went, everyone, my mum and Nan just like laughing, like, stop making a big deal of it, and they just went, and she was in, and then all the companions followed, and they were making a decision. Right, you can go away. And Yaz's remind me of the Doctor so much. I thought, what if they do a twist and Yaz is the Doctor here? You know, could it be? It could be. It didn't. And now it's not canon or anything. But yeah, Yaz is very acting like the Doctor, very acting like Clara. I think that may be leading to her demise in Series 13, if she comes back in a way, because it's kind of playing out. I'll get to that in a minute. Yeah, so then we have... companions going to find the Doctor. I'll get to that in a minute. There's more important stuff. The Master just tells us the plan. What he's trying to think of plans. He's trying to hit Spitfire like, oh, that could work, but then this could work. And I liked the Master versus the Lone Sideman, even though eventually the Lone Sideman just got turned into that. I thought I wanted more of the Lone Sideman. We had 2 episodes with him, and then he's suddenly just gone. Yeah. Then we have him with that reality bomb, you could say. There's a little thing it's not as big as the reality bomb. It would just blow up a planet instead of everything. But yeah, I was like, ooh, a Cyberman could really do this. I like the Cyberman's plan of wiping out everything and trying to become robots. Just robots. It shows that there is no human in these. So no fan can complain, basically, and say, oh, they're not acting like Cybermen. They're not meant to. They're all robots now. But the lone Cyberman's not getting that. He's not understanding that, what he's done, in a way. He's turned them all into robot soldiers, malfunction and all that. All the shells are empty, basically, and Gallifreyans are put in. These dead bodies. For some reason the Master decided to keep them. He thought he could try and play with that, and he did. I thought that was quite dark, playing with dead bodies and putting them in this casing and moving about. The Time Lords are arising again as Cybermen, and when you kill a Cyberman, it starts regenerating to make the Cybermen come back and follow orders. That was interesting, but I didn't like this. Their design was, I like the Cybermen, the new design, but mixing it with Time Lords, with the little Gallifreyan like headset and the Gallifreyan symbols on their face was like, how did you have time to do that? I mean, okay, yes, they work at a fast pace of upgrading, but Master was like, oh, we've got time, I'll tweak some designs. No, that weren't the issue. The issue was the design. I didn't like it. I liked the black cape. It reminded me of Darth Vader. I don't know why. Then this little drawings on the face, I was like, oh, no, not like that. And this, it looks hideous with the Gallifrey clothing on the Time Lords. We get that they're Time Lords, the Cybermen are Time Lords. You've explained that. Put a Gallifreyan symbol as their C piece. You know, the C piece they used to get, or just a symbol. That round symbol, get a Gallifreyan symbol. That'll do. Or make a golden tint of Cybermen. That'll do. But no, we went a bit too far on that. And I was like, I would not be scared of that. I'd be like, that's some funky 80s design or something like that. Yeah, that was the only problem with this. And the Cybermen were just basically following the Master's plans. They take a back seat again to the Master. But you know what? Let's just carry on. The Master saying, oh, remember when we did this as a childhood and remember that? I love that. They have history in this place. I loved putting Jodie, and she's stuck in this little casing, this cell, you could say, and then she gets put into the Matrix, and we see the Matrix showing us all these visions and all that, and making sense of the episode. This is what makes sense. And then there's some stuff, obviously the Time Lords are not going to allow everything to be there. They're going to delete history that they don't want people to find out this stuff. So they have wiped out some stuff so it don't make sense. Then we have a gap, which Big Finish can easily put in, or fans can put in. How did the Roof Doctor get to Jodie? How did Roof Doctor appear? You know, we could learn that in the future, or we could not. We know Roof is kind of virtually the main one in a way, I guess. It builds up to Roof, and then Roof appears, and I like that as well. And I thought she was phenomenal in it. And yeah, then we have how the Doctor started in a way, but we don't know as well. There's questions. You could say, oh, we know too much now. We don't. There's gaps. There's a gap how we got to William Hartnell, and there's a gap. The Doctor was found on Gallifrey, or this woman found on Gallifrey, the Doctor as a kid. We don't know what species the Doctor is, really. And we don't know why and how this species has made the Doctor regenerate in the first place. So yeah, we don't know which species technically the Doctor is. So yeah. And we also don't know how we got to William Hartnell. There's still gaps we can fill in here, but we do know more now as well. And so does Jodie. So that's interesting. And the Doctor questioning herself, I like that. And yeah, I just love the Master showing off and tantruming and getting a bit trigger happy and all that stuff. I thought Master versus Doctor, Master versus a lone Cyberman, even though lone Cyberman was underused. Something I had to give in this episode. And then we get to the finale now. Suddenly, the companions have saved the Doctor, blah, blah, blah. Jodie explains to the audience, technically, and the companions what's going on. This is what we got to do. Right. let's put these bombs. The bombs blow up the cyber ships, that gets rid of the Cybermen. Now we've got Cybermen down below, and we need to blow up the planet. Right, let's get on to the next bit. So, let's blow up the planet. Put these bombs, we've got one bomb left, and it happens to be a trigger one. And then we send the companions to goodbye, and Yaz is like, no. I thought Ryan and Graham could have done more. They could have said, well, we don't want you to go either, but they kind of just let it happen. And then in this, I thought Ryan worked well. I met him yesterday at Comic-Con. I can't believe it. Check out my Comic-Con video, little plug there. Check out my reviews of Series 12 as well. Anyway, I liked Graham. I thought Graham was working well in this. He gave ideas. He was important. He weren't as important as others. But yeah, Yaz is certainly shining now, which is strange because she had nothing to do in Series 11. But yeah, Yaz is like stopping the Doctor, and the Doctor has to tell her to let go. And then we send the companions home. There's a load of TARDISes dotted about the place. Clara's got one. Other people have got them. And there's a tree as a TARDIS now, and there's also a home as a TARDIS. I like that. That made me giggle a little bit. A home as a TARDIS. Technically, it's flat. I'm in. Could be a TARDIS. Don't know. I need to find a door for it first. Get in the console. I like the classic TARDIS, obviously. The Roof Doctor's TARDIS in a way. That must have been... they forced the Roof Doctor to turn in William Hartnell, and that's her TARDIS, and the companions got away in the Roof Doctor TARDIS, I like to think. My little logic, in a way. And the companions get left, like Series 6, where the Doctor makes Amy and Rory think that they're dead, even though River told Amy and Rory that he's alive. I like that. That was kind of a link. They think the Doctor's kind of dead. They don't know where the Doctor is. They think that she's actually left them. But the old man tried to follow. They don't know what happened. The companions are left for Series 13, hopefully, if the Doctor can escape. And maybe, I was questioning at the end, Jodie was at the console. Should I go and save them, or should I go back for them? I thought maybe she might not. Maybe she might just leave them because she doesn't want them to get hurt. I thought she could leave them, so we don't know. We could get the companions back, or they could be left. Most likely they are coming back, but yeah. And yet again, no companions getting killed off, which I thought was building up for that. But yeah. Okay, they're around for the next time, I think, hopefully, with the Daleks, which are leading in there. I love the Master. Do it. Press the bomb. He's pushing her to the extreme with Day of the Doctor vibes of, this time she's going to do it. Even though there's no people there, she's going to blow up her history. She's going to blow up her planet. And she's that close, and then the old man appears out of nowhere. I thought it was very random. I was like, who are you? Why are you here? Why are you that important? Are you another Doctor? Oh, I'm going to have to say it. Are you another Doctor to everyone now? But then he comes along and says, he's this. He sent the cyber thing to episode 8. He did this. It's his fault in a way. And I thought it was kind of out of character for Jodie to let him do it. To let him sacrifice himself. I thought that would never be a Doctor thing. But then I also thought it is a very Doctor thing for her to run. I like that she runs for the last time away from Gallifrey, away from her problems. She runs. The Master is the one that fought, and the Doctor is the one that always runs. I like that. The Master and the Doctor battling out with that bomb was very interesting. I really like that. And then, of course, the old man threatens the Master. The Cyberman finally kills someone, but he somehow presses it. I thought he should have pressed it, and then they killed him, and then the whole thing blew. But yeah, either way, the Master is atoms, like the thing said. They used the little toy Cyberman, the lone Cyberman, and the bomb, and boom. So the Time Lords are no more. They're all dead bodies, but there could be some out there. That's a new video that I may do on Wednesday, but Tuesday I've got a video on why the Time Child works. Some people are going to have a go at saying this doesn't work and stuff. I'm going to try and say it does, and I've got a video coming for that on Tuesday. That's coming out on Wednesday. Could Time Lords be out there? Anyway, next up, yes, the Master is no more. I don't know how he's going to escape. Maybe he has a backup plan with that thing inside him, the cyber information. Maybe there's a backup. Maybe that's how he escapes. But yeah, it's the Master. He escapes. And there we go. That's reviewed pretty much everything. The companions are left. The Doctor's in the TARDIS. The Shadoon appear. I like that. I said they would. In my review, I said They never leave a contract, and that worked. They came back. I like that. They fulfilled the contract. They got the Doctor in the end. They know it's the Doctor because they scanned him in episode 5. Then the Doctor's put in a cell. It's kind of like Rick and Morty. The Rick and Morty gets put in a cell and he's left. And I was like, no, you can't leave that. Now I've got to wait technically a year. We've got to wait until the end of the year to find out how she's going to escape. What are you doing to me, Doctor Who? And now I've got to wait to how Jodie gets out. I didn't know why how the Shadoon could get into the TARDIS. Suddenly all these monsters are starting to get into the TARDIS. It happened in episode 7, I think. And it also happened in another episode as well. Episode 1, I think, of Spyfall. So yeah, a lot of villains can get in the TARDIS now. That's the thing. But yeah, Jodie is left in a cell. How's she going to escape? Who knows? And the Daleks are coming from the title, which I completely missed, but I saw Daleks, so yeah. And I also know the companions are left on Earth, and the other humans are just going to live out their lives. They don't have to worry about being the end of the humans or anything. They can just live on Earth now. Probably as homeless people, but yeah. I'm going to give this episode a 9 out of 10. I don't think it's... there's something missing. I don't know what. But yeah, it can't get a 10 for me, but it gets a 9. 9.5. Yeah, why not? It is very up there. 9.5 from me at the moment. So that's it. That's my review. Done. Woo! That's an extended version, but it is the finale, so we'll allow it. So videos I've got planned quickly. Just going to spitfire them. Tuesday, basically... trying to think now. I've got 2 videos planned. How the Time Lords could still be out there and why the Timeless Child works. They're the 2 videos that are coming next week. And on Saturday, I'm planning on doing a Series 12 Uber review. So you're getting 3 videos this week coming. And then you're also getting a video on my flat. I'm leaving this flat, but I'm going to do a flat tour of what Doctor Who stuff I've got given. And then I'm going to talk about what videos I've got to come. My basically ideas and what I've got planned for the channel for the future. So you've got at least 5 to 6 videos out of me that's coming, and I'm going to explain a lot more. So yeah, stick around for next week where you got 3 videos and 2 week and you got another added video next week after that. So yeah, thank you guys for watching. Don't forget to comment, rate, subscribe, and listen to the Doctor. If you remember way back at the start of this video, the Doctor left a message. If you'll probably follow the Doctor's orders. And I'll see you guys for my next video on Tuesday and Wednesday and Saturday. Ooh, I've got a lot planned.